Okay, so a lot of people are embarrassed or ashamed to talk about that they are on an SSRI. And then you don't really get too many videos of people who are talking about tapering on an SSRI or giving advice about it because they're a user of that SSRI. And then on top of that, I guess, there's the idea maybe if you're using some sort of mental health drug, then maybe you have mental health issues, so why should we take advice from you? And I think this is a terrible thing. I think we should listen to people that are using these drugs, medications, whatever you want to call them, and get some advice. So the first thing I want to get at is the tapering schedule, because what my doctor told me was just go down to, I think I was on 62.5, and he said go down to 25 and then just quit, and you can just do like a week or two at 25 and then just quit. And everything I've read after I've read the real stuff versus just what a few doctors say, and I don't want to put down my doctor, he's a pretty good guy, but I don't agree with that. It's true that, say, Zoloft has a half-life of 26 hours. So, like, say, if you take 50 today, then that 50 is 25 tomorrow, and then 12.5, and so forth. And once you get to about 4 or 5 days, the amount that it's cutting in half is so small that really about 4 or 5 days, whatever you took today is out of your system 4 or 5 days later. But there's more to it than that, because just because it's out of your system, it still takes your body and your brain time to adjust to the change. And I firmly believe that can take longer than 4 or 5 days. It could take a couple of weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on how long you've been using it. So if you taper quickly, you may not realize, what you've done until you are already starting to feel the effects of your body adjusting later. Yeah. So that's why tapering very slowly is important, because it helps you to get off of it in a way that's very safe, very comfortable. You can make very small adjustments, which helps you to feel comfortable too. So like say, I'm not on this amount, but say you're on 100 milligrams. I didn't quite take that much. Then maybe you're going to just you're going to order the smallest pill first. So they usually gave you 50 milligram pills. Get the 25 milligram pills, which would mean you would have to take 4 of them to get 100 milligrams. But then get the 25 and take 3 25s, cut and break one of the 25s in half. And maybe you could do that. So that would be, but if you wanted to, you could even just take a little pair of scissors, like the kind you use to trim your nose hairs, and cut a little bit off of that fourth 25 pill. So you go from 100 down to like 98, 97.5, and just proceed and you go down to 97.5, say, which is just a little sliver taken off of that fourth pill. And then maybe like you do that for a week. And if everything's okay, then go down just a little bit more. Then maybe you can get down to where you're like 3.5 pills that you're taking, which 100 minus 12.5, that'd put you at 87.5. Maybe it takes you 2 or 3 weeks to get to that, and when you stay there for a little while. And then do another 2 or 3 weeks where you go down by a quarter of a pill, and then by half of a pill. And that takes 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month. And just do it very slowly, because you may find that you still get some times where you feel a little bit like, I don't know, like what your mental health problem is, because it can be different. But say you have obsessive thoughts. You might get some obsessive thoughts a little bit more when you are decreasing the dose. Or you might get a little depression sometimes. But think about it. Everybody has obsessive thoughts, even people who are not using drugs. You're not using SSRIs. Everybody has obsessive thoughts. Everybody has worries, anxieties, depression. But important is how much, right? and if it's like affecting your life. So by going down gradually, your body can adjust more in a comfortable way. And I did some research on this. I'm not good at quoting my research, so sorry. I'm not a doctor, but a lot of people like to watch what I have to say, so here I am. Now, the success rate. People who who taper quickly are back on that SSRI soon. A few months later, they're back on the SSRI. People who taper slowly are able to stay off of it. Something like only 20% are able to stay off the SSRI if they taper quickly, and it's something like 80% if they taper slowly. So it's really easy to get real overly confident about this and be like, I can handle it. I just went down by half the dose and I feel fine. But then we talk to you a couple weeks later and it's like, you're not feeling so great, are you? So if you go slowly and you reach a point where you're not feeling so great, just stay there for a little while. Matter of fact, just stay there anyway for a little while. Stay there for 2 weeks, a month, and then go down just a little bit more. Maybe it takes you hopefully at least 3 months, unless you're like already, if you're at 25 now, then you can go quicker. But if you're like 50 or more, take 3 months, take 4 months to taper very, very slowly, and your chances of success are much higher. And I would love to see more data on this. If any of you would like to help me do the research, I know I've read this. I believe it to be true from my own experience and also talking to others. So, okay, that's my little video about tapering on an SSRI, and the one I have used is Zoloft. I'm almost at 0 now. So it's wonderful. But I didn't get overly confident when I felt good as I reduced it. I just stayed on my regular schedule of going down very slowly. So, okay, see you.